In today's investment environment, many people wonder, what can you do with around $13,000? For those who are hesitant to invest in stocks, the most common choice might be putting it into a bank fixed deposit. However, recent trends in domestic interest rates such as HIBOR have been disappointing, with fixed deposit rates falling below 2%. On the other hand, this amount isn't sufficient to purchase a property in most major cities in China. So, what options are there? For this reason, many individuals have turned to overseas property investment. Among the various countries, Australia stands out as a popular choice thanks to its sound legal system and stable economic environment. But here's the problem. Many people assume property prices in Australia are too expensive. Even in cities like Perth, Adelaide, and Brisbane, the median price for a standalone house has exceeded $800,000 to over $1 million. In this video, I want to show you how you can use just $13,000 to purchase a quality investment property in Canberra, the capital of Australia. Yes, you heard that right. $13,000 can be enough for the down payment. With a relatively small investment, you could hold a long-term cash flow generating property in Australia. Rental yields can reach 5%, with additional potential for capital growth. Many people with just $13,000 in hand consider buying property in countries like the UK, Japan, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, or the Philippines. Honestly, I worry about these decisions. People often choose these markets because they appear cheap, but they carry hidden risks. Take the UK for example. Since Brexit, its economy has been unstable and it has very high inheritance taxes. While rental yields can seem decent, capital growth tends to be sluggish. On top of that, many are unaware of how expensive property management fees are in the UK. Even if your gross rental yield looks high, once you pay for these services, the net return is not impressive and appreciation is limited. As for Japan, property prices are low, but the country is facing a rapidly aging population, which means long-term demand for housing is declining. Add a frequent natural disasters like earthquakes and tsunamis, high maintenance fees, and steep depreciation, and you have a risky investment. What's more, the Japanese yen has been significantly devalued, which means your rental income is also gradually losing value. Now, let's talk about Southeast Asia. Countries like Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. On paper, their rental yields look very attractive, but they come with serious political risks. Legal systems in these regions are underdeveloped, exchange rate fluctuations are substantial, and scams targeting property investors are frequent. Many people end up losing money. With my background as a practicing lawyer in Australia, the first thing I evaluate in any investment decision is its legal framework. If the rule of law is lacking, it doesn't matter how high the returns are or how much property appreciates. At the end of the day, the property might not even legally belong to you. Even if its value doubles, it's meaningless if you can't actually secure your ownership or repatriate your profits. That's why so many global investors flock their Australian real estate. It's not just because of political stability and high-quality education, but because the economic fundamentals are strong. The legal framework is highly developed, property rights are clear, and the transactions are fully transparent. Australia currently ranks 7th globally for investment safety, with a score of 84.08 out of 100. In recent years, Perth has frequently appeared in international news due to its impressive property price growth. Many global investors are aware of this surge, and many feel discouraged, thinking their modest capital is insufficient to enter the Australian real estate market. In fact, 1/3 of standalone houses in Australia are now valued at over $1 million. However, there are still untapped investment opportunities in Australia. For instance, in the nation's capital, Canberra, apartments are available for just over $500,000. Some lenders even allow foreign buyers to borrow up to 80% of the property value, meaning the total entry cost, including down payment and stamp duty, could be as low as $13,000. What makes Canberra particularly appealing is that, unlike cities such as Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, it does not impose additional stamp duties on foreign buyers. While these cities charge 7 to 8% extra, Canberra rate remains at 0%, putting international investors on equal footing with local buyers. This difference is especially significant when working with a limited budget. That said, all foreign investors purchasing property in Australia, including in Canberra, must pay the Foreign Investment Review Board or FIRB fee, unless it's covered by the developer. So, is Canberra truly a worthwhile investment destination? One of the first things I examine is a region's legal framework. If you're considering countries where $13,000 might allow you to purchase property with solid legal protection, the options narrow down to the UK and Australia. Both are Commonwealth nations governed by common law, meaning precedents play a crucial role in their legal systems. Australia is especially known for its adherence to the rule of law, as opposed to rule by law, which emphasizes governance by established impartial legal principles. This legal stability is one of the primary reasons global investors are confident placing their money in Australia. Additionally, Australia has no inheritance tax, making it a popular destination for wealthy individuals who wish to pass on assets to their children without significant tax burdens. Another essential criterion when evaluating a region's investment potential is its economic strength. Canberra is not only the national capital, but also the hub of Australia's federal government. It sits strategically between Sydney and Melbourne and hosts over 50 federal agencies, including the Parliament, High Court, Department of Foreign Affairs, and the Immigration Office. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, or ABS, 2021 census, 26.6% of Canberra population is employed in government roles, meaning more than 1/4 of the residents hold stable iron rise bowl jobs, the highest proportion in the nation. This translates to an exceptionally low unemployment rate of just 3.4%, compared to the national average of 4.1%. Moreover, Canberra average income is the highest in Australia, even surpassing that of Perth. ABS data from November 2024 shows that the average weekly earnings per person in the Australian Capital Territory, or ACT, are $2,178. Why does this matter? Because tenants are the lifeblood of any rental investment. Stable employment and high incomes reduce the risk of missed rent payments. In Canberra, it's common for public servants to be tenants, and since their salaries increase annually based on a point system, they are generally unfazed by small annual rent increases. This makes Canberra particularly attractive from a rental income perspective. The third key metric for real estate investment is population growth. This has a direct impact on both rental demand and property prices. When supply fails to keep up with increasing demand, it leads to completion. Tenants must pay higher rents, and buyers are willing to pay more due to limited availability. Canberra population is relatively young, with a steady inflow of both domestic migrants and skilled immigrants, driven by job opportunities. According to projections by the ACT Treasury, the population is expected to grow from 470,000 to 784,000 by 2060, with an average annual growth rate of 1.4%. Even more importantly, this is a highly educated population. The 2021 census revealed that 43% of Canberra residents hold a bachelor's degree or higher, compared to the national average of just 26.3%. Now that we've established strong population growth, the next question is, what about supply? If housing supply outpaces population growth, property values are unlikely to rise. Canberra currently needs approximately 3,000 new dwellings per year to meet the demand from its growing population. However, real estate consultancy Charter Kramer expects that the current supply levels won't come close to meeting this requirement. In fact, 2024 marked a peak in housing completions, and from 2025 onward, production is projected to decline. Between 2025 and 2028, the number of new homes built is expected to drop to just 56% of the 10-year average. This growing mismatch, rising population, and shrinking housing supply will likely lead to ongoing shortages, pushing property prices even higher in the years to come. Oxford Economics in Australia predicts that the apartment prices in Canberra will rise by 20% over the next 3 years, an average increase of more than 7% per year. A few years ago, it was still possible to find one-bedroom apartments in Canberra for between 300,000 Australian dollars to 400,000 Australian dollars. But the entry price today has risen significantly. Even the rental market is tight. According to the SQM research, Canberra vacancy rate in April 2025 was just 1.6%, indicating a supply shortage. When analyzing real estate, it's essential to understand where a city sits on the property clock. According to HTW's May 2025 property clock, both houses and apartments in Canberra are currently in the start of recovery phase. This means the market has already passed its weakest point and is gradually improving, although prices have not yet begun to surge. For those who missed past growth cycles in cities like Brisbane and Perth, Canberra is now worth serious attention. Entering the market now allows investors to ride the full upswing from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock on the property clock. Heading into the rising market phase, where rapid price increases, like those seen in Perth, the Gold Coast, and Adelaide, are typical. Although Canberra property market has lagged behind other capital cities over the past year, CoreLogic data as of June 2 shows a 0.6% quarterly increase in overall ACT property prices. This indicates that buyers are now shifting funds from overheated markets into more affordable areas like Canberra, contributing to its rebound. Maria Edwards, the CEO of the Real Estate Institute of the ACT, stated that the market has bottomed out and, with interest rates cuts and renewed buyer activity, is poised to rise. Peter Moulton, chief economist at Bank of Queensland, believes Canberra will be one of the top-performing housing markets over the next 2 years, overcasting a 12% increase in property prices alongside Perth and Darwin. Canberra's appeal is not limited to capital growth. Rental yields are also attractive. SQM data shows that in June, apartment rental yields in Canberra reached 5.1%, outperforming Sydney and Melbourne. This raises the question, what are the best investment opportunities in Canberra? Just like in many cities, new metro stations often bring significant prices appreciation. Canberra is currently undergoing a major infrastructure boom, with over $1 billion pledged for development. Notably, Stage 2 of Canberra Light Rail project is already underway, with $265 million in funding and a target opening in 2028. One line will connect the city center to Woden Interchange, the hub of the Phillip suburb, just a 15-minute drive from the CBD. Phillip is a highly popular area, home to numerous government offices, a major hospital, residential zones, and Canberra's tallest commercial building, Lovett Tower. The extension of the light rail to Phillip is expected to significantly boost the suburb's property values, particularly around Woden Interchange and Phillip Oval. Woden Interchange will serve as a key transit hub, surrounded by top-tier amenities including Westfield and Woolworths. The saying, "Invest where Westfield builds," holds weight, as areas with Westfield developments often experience rapid appreciation. From Woden Interchange, Canberra Hospital, the city's largest, can be reached in just 6 minutes by car. The hospital recently completed a historic $500 million expansion, adding 114 emergency treatment rooms, 60 ICU beds, and 22 state-of-the-art operating theaters. With such a strong medical presence and many government offices nearby, it's no surprise that public administration and healthcare are the two largest employment sectors in the area. In fact, 62.3% of the local workforce is employed in these fields, resulting in a high-quality tenant base. The area is also popular among student renters. Right next to the Woden Interchange, a new $325 million campus for Canberra Institute of Technology is being developed, expected to serve 6,500 students annually. Additionally, the suburb houses Canberra College and several primary and secondary schools, all within a 10-minute drive. For those with children studying at the Australian National University, it's only a 15-minute drive away. Given all these advantages, should investors buy house or apartments in Phillip? Due to its proximity to the CBD and universities, Phillip has a unique demographic. 67% of residents live in an apartment, and the average households consist of just 1.9 people. High-density apartment living is a great fit for the area's population and for investors. Entry costs are relatively low. A down payment of around $130,000 can get you started. Over the past 5 years, Phillip's property prices have already increased by 40%. With limited new supply in the pipeline, prices are expected to continue rising after the light rail opens. Current rental yields are around 5%. However, it's important to note that property ownership in Canberra is different from other parts of Australia. As the national capital, all land titles are leasehold, not freehold. This means you're leasing the land from the government, typically for 99 years. In most cases, leases are easily renewed if the land is not needed for government purposes. Despite the difference, leasehold properties can still be bought, sold, mortgaged, or transferred just like freehold ones. Especially for apartments, which can be redeveloped individually anyway, the impact of leasehold status is minimal. In fact, in many parts of Asia, including China, leasehold ownership is the norm and doesn't affect resale value or rental income. Phillip also has an advantage for international buyers as of June 2025. Foreigners can still borrow up to 80% for mortgages in Canberra. That said, lending criteria can change monthly, so it's important to confirm terms before buying. Additionally, Canberra doesn't impose the 8% foreign buyer stamp duty surcharge that Sydney and Melbourne do. For example, a foreigner buying a 600,000 Australian dollar property in Sydney or Melbourne would pay an extra 84,000 Australian dollars in stamp duty. But in Canberra, this surcharge doesn't apply. Canberra also has the lowest land tax in the country at just 0.75%. This means that even with a down payment of only $70,000 up to $80,000, international buyers can enter the Canberra property market. As the capital city with a AAA credit rating and a property cycle just beginning to rise, Canberra represents a strong investment opportunity. Those interested should pay close attention to the wooden interchange area in the Phillip suburb, where new infrastructure is creating fresh momentum. If you're interested in learning more or have any questions about investing, feel free to leave a comment below. For one-on-one consultations, you're welcome to contact me via WhatsApp, email, or book a time through my website at investwithalison.com. Thank you for your time and see you.